Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You just might hear me sneeze in between once or twice. I just got into a sneezing jag again. Allergy time for like 7 sneezes in a row. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know what it is with the number 7, but let's talk about 7 ways that I like to remain under. I like these 2 words, under budget. Where? At the grocery store. And I'll be right back. I have a feeling that intro botched up. You might have heard me speak a couple of words in between because the microphone on this thing, it's not me. It's the platform that I'm using. Sometimes it goes a little haywire. Got to work those little things out. Anyway, hi, I'm Jen. Welcome to another episode of the Save Money and More with Jen channel. Please forgive the nasal voice. That is a result of sneezing too much. I want to get into the 7 ways that I like to remain under budget at the grocery store. Well, let me begin with this. I still use the envelope system, okay? For me, it has been helpful for many, many years. I like it. It's an orderly way. It works for me. So I know the numbers that I'm working with, okay? I know the numbers that I'm working with at the grocery store specifically, and I like to stay under budget. For me, this works. For other people, they need more wiggle room. That's totally okay. But I'm just explaining how it works for me and might help someone else listening. There you go. All right, number 1, I do believe that people spend way too much money on multiple skincare products, okay? To me, it is better, in my honest opinion, to invest a couple of more cents on, let's say, a really good hypoallergenic soap, let's say, or a very, very mild soap to use for your, facial skin, particularly, of course. And also you can use it all around. So this is the one that I've heard many times dermatologists have recommended, and begins with letter D, and it looks like a bird. That's all I'm saying on that matter. So in case you're spending a couple of more cents on that, to me, I would rather spend a few more cents on that than spend so much money on too many skincare products. Now, obviously, if you are under medical supervision and your doctor advises you to use specific things for your skin, you have, you go along with that. But for the person that is not, doing anything particular for their skincare needs, I do believe that we just so used to buying so many of this type of product that it really can interfere with your grocery budget. I'm just saying, take notice of that and see how much you may or may not be spending and see if it makes a difference at all. All right. Next, consolidate your cleaning products. I like to work with things that I can make my own cleaning products. I keep it so simple. It is not even funny. For example, these are the items that I like to work with. For example, baking soda. Okay, that is a wonderful thing. You make a little paste of it and you clean out your refrigerator. Sort of like really has like that little gentle cleaning grit to it, if you will. And then you rinse it out thoroughly. And I like to work with that. I like to work with vinegar. I like to work with hydrogen peroxide. Not all together, of course. These are all separate units doing separate things. I like to put a capful or 2 of hydrogen peroxide in laundry. And if I ever have to go to the public laundry, let's say for a huge blanket, I can't put a huge blanket in my little machine at home. Don't get me wrong. I love my little machine at home, but I cannot put a big blanket or a comforter in something like that. So instead, if I take it to the regular laundromat, I kind of feel leery just putting my clothes in without disinfecting the machine. You don't know who, you don't know who, what, or where was, in that machine. You know what I'm saying? Where at home, it's your stuff and, you clean it out your way. But when using a public laundry, I personally like to enter a couple of capfuls of, safely, of course, of hydrogen peroxide. Make sure none of, your clothes can run out, bleaching wise, if you will. Some people, of course, use lots of bleach. Okay. And bleach is still relatively inexpensive, in my opinion. All right. But for at-home use, baking soda, vinegar, hydrogen peroxide, Dawn dish liquid. There are knockoff versions, I hear, of this Dawn dish liquid. How many of you out there have used it? If you did, let me know, please, in the comment section below. Does it work just like it? And can you save some money? Hey, congratulations if so. But these are the type of items that I like to work with. I don't believe in spending a little fortune on cleaning products, especially when the product itself is mostly comprised of water. You know what it is people are also paying for? They're paying for packaging. They're paying for the spray bottle. So let's say you used a good quality, expensive spray bottle in the past of something, don't be so apt to throw it out. Clean it very well and keep it for a future reuse of your own cleaning product. Make sure it's thoroughly rinsed out. Make sure it is thoroughly clean. That's very, very important. You don't want to have residue mixing with other things that should not be mixed with, if you see where I'm going with that, okay? I personally dislike working with ammonia products. I think ammonia products, I don't like the smell. It kind of makes me gag. I don't care for it. But everybody's different. And you have to be really, really careful with ammonia. And you have to be really, never mix it with certain other items. Look all this up. But as far as cleaning products in general go, I think we spend way too much money on them because the manufacturers and the advertisers have taught people to believe they need an individual cleaning product for every little job that gets done. And that is actually not true. In my case, in my opinion, that's the way I feel. Somebody may not agree with me. That's totally okay. But for purposes of keeping on the budget, yeah, I keep it simple. I'm not going to go out and buy a multitude of cleaning products when I could, work it out. And as far as those spray bottles go, if you don't have any, just get them in the dollar store, $1.25 store. Pick them up. It is such a little investment, and get the kind that has a good, like when you check the spray part, like the trigger, as I call it, like the spray pump, make sure it's a good quality one, not like a dinky rinky one, so it breaks too fast. So take a look. There are so many, but it is so worth it. All right. So before you actually, or any of us actually venture off to the actual grocery store, it really pays to look around you, to try not to duplicate things you don't have. Let's say you have 4 boxes of, let's say you have 4 boxes of cereal and you forgot about it, okay? Do you really need to buy another 4 boxes of cereal? I don't know. It depends on your family's needs, I guess, but let's say you're a family of 1 or 2. Do you really need to have 8 boxes of cereal? I mean, I don't know. I can't answer that for you, but maybe you'd rather put some of that, what you would have purchased for an additional 4 boxes of cereal, to something else you might need more urgently at the moment. You see where I'm going with that? Let's say you're a tea drinker and you're very low on tea, and you go look for a cup of tea because your tummy hurts, and then you realize, wait a minute, I don't have tea. Why? Because you spent too much money on extra boxes of cereal that you didn't need at the moment. You see where I'm going with that? So you have to kind of like look around you and assess. A little bit of an assessment before going to the grocery store, in my honest, has worked for me over the years. It is just so freaking worth it. Next, try to avoid emotional, or as they call, impulse purchases. Sometimes you have a disagreement with someone, it just gets under your skin, or you receive a letter in the mail that was not your favorite kind of a letter, or a bill that's like frustrating you, you don't get it, you don't understand what happened, and you're feeling kind of badly. That, to me, is not the moment to decide to venture off to the store, because to me, it's like, oh, that's going to be the moment. Like I'll still be left over upset, perhaps, even though I might try to put it to the side mentally. But then I'll walk into that grocery store, and then there goes the smell of that beautiful, expensive chocolate cake that literally I can make for pennies on the dollar, but is sitting there like for $12.99. I'm like, I deserve that $12.99 cake. You see where I'm going with that? No, it's just impulse shopping needs to be avoided. It really, really does. Next, Use the we all have calculators on our phones. Just a few years ago, I still used to use my old-fashioned one. It was like from Office Max years ago. I just was in such a habit of always bringing that manual thing because I like it, the big numbers, type them in, so cute. Then I got used to just using a calculator that's built into my phone. That's built into all of our phones, for example. All of our smartphones have a calculator in them, and we need to use them. Sometimes there are gizmos and gadgets and apps on there that we just ignore or just are not aware of that they exist. So just notice, bring it with you. Why bring it with you? Because I rather know before I get to the checkout, I rather know the numbers that I'm working with. I am pretty much a bean counter. So I kind of have an idea already in the first place before I even enter the grocery store. However, I still like to make it official and check it with the official numbers that are at the grocery store and see where it comes out to. And I'm like, if I'm not loving the numbers, I'm going to re-examine the stuff that's in my cart. Because for me, it is imperative for me to keep under budget. It's imperative. Like everybody else, you have increased bills. You know the drill. We're all trying to maneuver and get by, and hopefully things one day will get a little better. But that's its own show. But anyway, so getting into the habit of using the calculator that's built into your phone is a wonderful thing to do. So I strongly suggest it. Couldn't hurt. And it also gives you like that minute of, why am I getting this? All right. Next, before you even walk to the checkout counter, the register, notice something in your grocery cart. Okay. If it's not on sale, if it's not something you need, put it back. Put it back. The world's not going to end if you put that thing back. I'll give you an example. There are certain artisan breads out there, and they're really good. There's no question about it. They are delicious. Some of them claim to be more nutritious. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I have to trust what I read. Okay. I would hope they wouldn't dare put such a, not true on anything. Of course, I will trust that it's true. But look at the price. Some artisan breads, at least in New York, I can tell you can go for close to maybe $8. And that's being conservative about it. However, if I could get a decent quality, let's say whole wheat loaf of sliced bread, I will absolutely say, you know what, the artisan bread can wait. I don't need $8, $9 bread. Okay. But I do need to have some sliced bread. I like to make sandwiches because they are a bargain in and of themselves. And I do like certain brand of whole wheat bread. It's a better quality, but it's reasonable in price. So for me to get the $4 loaf versus the $8.99 artisan bread, that will go back to the shelf. It probably wouldn't make it into my wagon in the first place unless it is on sale at a comparable price. At that time, if I find that once in a while, I'll consider that a treat. But it wouldn't be my mainstay. So look carefully inside your grocery wagon. Let me see. Next, this is always worth bearing repeating. Always worth bearing repeating. But I'll be right back. Before I do that, don't forget to do the following. Hopefully that went through because there's been like some issues with the audio and the little video clips. And I really hope they work out their bugs in that system, especially when you pay for something. When you pay for things, you kind of want good quality. There you go. All right. So last but not least, always bears worth repeating. Okay. Never, ever, ever shop hungry. Never, ever. I mean, I'm not saying that, it's not going to come up. I mean, sometimes there are situations and it happens and you have no choice at that moment. But if you, plan to go at 2:00, for example, to the grocery store, already, wouldn't it make sense to have your lunch at home at like a fraction of the cost? I mean, that's one reason. The other reason is you're not going to be apt to do impulse purchases because everything is like really, really psychologically fixed at a grocery store to entice you. For example, you're going to usually walk in most places, not far from the fresh bakery section of a grocery store. Ever notice that? You open the door, you walk through the door, and what hits you? The smell of fresh baked groceries. Hello, hello, hello. The sweet smells of the pastries. Maybe perhaps the roasting chicken. You see where I'm going with that? Uh, if you want to avoid the temptation and you want to keep within budget, I think staying at budget or under budget for your groceries is a really, really good thing. Take those savings, no matter how small, don't think they're insignificant. If you save $10 that week on your grocery budget, put it in an envelope, mark it savings. Do this every time you can. At the end of the month, add it to your savings account. I'm just saying. Hopefully, the closing song will work, so I'll play it. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to come back this week. We'll resume our No Frills videos every morning, Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. And then, of course, my longer form content at about 2 o'clock Eastern in the afternoon, anywhere after 2 p.m. Once in a while, I'll upload, usually on a Friday around 1 for the longer form content. Thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate everybody's time. Let's hear a little happy sound. I hope it works. Anyway, hopefully it did work. And if not, I want to also thank you for your patience. Just to let you know, I really do appreciate everything, your time, your energy, your effort. Hopefully somebody got a message from here. If I reach one person listening to this video today, then I did my job. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Thank you so much for sharing the video, for liking the video, and subscribing.